Friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel named Computer the Way of Life. We all are using computer for our day-to-day activities, but most of us are unaware regarding its functioning. Computer performs a task in three different phases, namely front-end, back-end and set of interfaces. Here backends are basically databases used for data repository. Interfaces are the operating systems or integrated development environment that establish the link between man and machine, whereas front ends are mainly the programming languages used by the real programmers that facilitate the machines to work as per the instructions given by the users. In this video, I have tried to explain the basic concept of computer language and their types in detail. Hope you all will watch this video till last. That will provide a clear understanding regarding different approaches of computer language. Now it's the time to discuss computer language in details. Basically, a language is a system of communication. It is a way to exchange our ideas and views with the others. A language may consist all the verbal and written symbols and expressions that are used for communication. Computer, being an electronic device, cannot understand any of the human language. They can sense only an electronic pulse, that is on or off, yes or no, present or absent, or 0 and 1. Hence, to communicate with computer, we have to write the instructions in a specific manner that a computer can understand, known as computer language. In this, to perform a task, a programmer prepares a sequence of instructions known as program, and for that they have to use a programming language. Every programming language has its own rules and regulations known as syntax or grammar of that programming language, which can vary from one language to another or from one version to another. Programming language can be divided or viewed under two broad heads. Number 1, according to the label, and number 2, according to their programming applications. First category, that is according to label, is further subclassified as low level language and high level language, whereas the second category, according to program application, is categorized as procedure oriented language and object oriented language. We will discuss one after another in details in subsequent slides. First, we will discuss about the low level language. Low level language is machine oriented and compatible with the hardware of the computer. It consists of mnemonic code. It is better understood by the computer as written by using the combinations of ones and zeros, but quite difficult for a programmer and other users. It is further subdivided as machine level language and assembly or symbolic level language. First, machine level language. It is the lowest form of the computer language, using only zeros and ones to write program. This is also known as first generation of computer language. It is machine dependent, that is, the program written for one machine cannot run on other machines, and requires a complete idea regarding the internal structure of a computer. Programs written in machine level language is called object program. It is very difficult and cumbersome to write and understand a program written in machine level language. In this, any set of instructions can be divided under four categories. First, arithmetic, such as add, subtract, multiplication and division. Then control, such as load, store, jump. Similarly, input-output, such as read and write. Then direct use, such as start, halt and end. Then symbolic or assembly level language. Assembly level language is a simplified approach in which we substitute machine codes with its symbolic equivalence by the counterpart of the computer. This is also known as second generation of computer language. In this, programs are written by using a series of mnemonics. That is, the machine level language is translated to its symbolic equivalence. It is called low level language because the program is designed for a particular machine. A program written in assembly level language is called the source program. For example, 0001 means for addition and abbreviated as add. 0010 can be used for subtraction and abbreviated as sub, 0011 used for multiplication and abbreviated as mul, and 0100 used for division and abbreviated division. In the adjacent diagram, we can observe whenever we are writing a program in its high level language, that is known as its source program, and that source program are being converted to its machine level equivalents by using the assembler known as object program. Next is high level language. High level languages are developed to relieve the user from the limitations of assembly level language. It is also known as third generation of language, came into existence during 1960s. It is near to the general English language that uses English words, text, digits and other special case characters to write a program and follow the general rules of mathematics. To write a program in high level language, we have to abide by the specific rules and regulations known as general syntax of the concerned programming language. Commonly used high level languages are BASIC, Fortran, Pascal, COBOL, and there are many more. High level languages are broadly classified as general purpose high level language and special purpose high level language. General purpose high level languages are used to perform variety of tasks, and it is possible due to its easily alterable set of instructions, whereas special purpose high level languages are used to perform specific tasks. High level languages are sometimes also subdivided as procedure oriented programming language and interactive programming language. Now, the characteristics of high level languages can be summarized as: first, it is easy to learn, write and understand and requires less time. Then, it is portable, as more than one low level language can be reduced to a single high level language. Then, it provides a better way of documentation and easier to maintain. Then, it is simple, versatile and machine independent. That is, the program written for one machine can run on others without making or sometimes a slight modification on different platforms. Then, programmers does not require an in-depth idea about the internal structure of the computer. Then, allocation of memory location for instruction and data is done by the computer and the programmer is relieved from the same. As discussed, low-level languages are machine-oriented, whereas high-level languages are people-oriented. Middle-level language is designed to bridge this gap, which will combine the feature of both, that is, the high-level language and low-level language, hence popularly known as middle-level language. The language C is popularly known as middle-level language, which combines the feature of both. In this, it is also possible to modify the source code. In reality, there is no such language. Now, we will discuss about procedure-oriented language. Procedure-oriented language is the old and traditional method of programming. It emphasizes top-down approach to solve a problem and focuses on how to solve the problem. In this, more importance is given on the functions, also known as functions or procedures. Here, procedures are the sequence of instructions organized into a group to execute a task that a computer has to follow, and then appropriate data is provided to get the output. In this, a problem is viewed as a sequence of things to be done, such as reading, calculating and writing, etc. And for this, number of functions are written to accomplish the different tasks. Here more focus is given on the development of functions, but a little attention is given on data that are used by different functions. Procedure-oriented language does not model the real-world problems very well, and there is no control over the data, which allow data to move freely that may be misutilized, such as C, ALGOL, Fortran, Pascal, and there are many more. Diagrammatically, the working of a procedure-oriented language can be shown in the adjacent diagram. In the adjacent diagram, the main function has three calling functions named function 1, function 2 and function 3. Here function 1 can call function 4, whereas function 4 can call function 6 and function 7. Function 2 can call function 4 and function 5, and subsequently function 4 can call function 6 and function 7, and function 5 can call function 7 and function 8 respectively. Similarly, function 3 can call function 5 and function 5 can call function 7 and 8. In this, calling functions are calling the called function. They actually perform the task and returns the value to the respective calling function. Now, the characteristics of a procedure-oriented language can be summarized as: first, more emphasis is given on doing things. Then, large programs are divided into smaller programs known as functions or block or subprogram. Then, most of the functions share global data. Then, data can move freely around the system from function to function. Then, function transfer data from one form to another. Then, it emphasizes top-down approach while designing programs. At last, we will discuss about object-oriented language. Object-oriented language is the recent trend to write the programs. It follows bottom-up approach to solve the problems, emerged during 1967 with the introduction of Simula 67. It is used for simulating the real-world problems on computers. As much of the real world is made of objects, it must include the simulation of such objects. In this, the concept of class, objects, and attributes were introduced. Here, class is a group of similar objects sharing a common name. Each and every individual member of the class is object, and attributes are the common characteristics shared by all the objects of that class. In OOPS, problems are solved by identifying the real-world objects, and then programming is done on those objects as required. Here, more importance is given to the objects, their process, and the required communication between the objects. In this, data is treated as a critical element and does not allow to move freely around the system, such as Java, C++, Smalltalk, Python, Ruby, etc. Diagrammatically, the working of OOPS can be represented as shown in the diagram. In the adjacent diagram, there is a class named class 1 containing 3 objects at object A, object B, and object C. Here, each object has its own data members and member functions, and by default, they are confined to the respective objects only. If required, one object can communicate with another object by using functions. Now we can summarize the characteristics of object-oriented language as: first, more emphasis on data rather than procedure. Then, programs are divided into objects. Then, data structures are so designated that they are characterized by the objects. Then, functions that operate on data on an object are tied together in the data structures. Then, data is hidden and cannot be accessed by external functions. Then, objects may communicate with each other through functions. Then, new data and functions can be easily added as and be required. And then, it follows bottom-up approach in program design. After having a detailed discussion, we conclude that the programming languages are the backbone of any of the computer system. There are 700 programming languages used worldwide, but among them, 50 are commonly used. Every programming language has the ability to perform the common task, but they all have their own line of specifications. Different programming languages adopt different approaches to solve the problems, such as top-down approach, bottom-up approach, modular approach, structured approach, and there are many more. And they all have their own merits and limitations. So, it is our prime concern to select the most appropriate programming language that meets our requirement in a best possible manner with the optimal use of the available resources. While selecting a particular language, we have to consider the following points: the purpose or objective of choosing the program, targeted platform, elasticity of a language, time to production, performance or efficiency, support and community, ease of development and maintenance, availability of IDs and error checking, and finally, diagnosis. With this, I remain. Hope you all have enjoyed it. Thank you for your patient hearing. Also suggest the topic of interest you want to explain me in future.